Welcome to the September 2025 virtual town hall for the South Granville Water and Sewer Authority. I am Crystal, Saguasa's PIO, Board Secretary and Webmaster. This segment is dedicated to continuing conversation surrounding the media filter replacement program.
I'll preface this with saying this one directly relates to water quality for Saguasa. So I'll go into a pretty deep background on this. South Granville Water and Sewer Authority utilizes a water treatment plant with traditional treatment technologies. Saguasa's water treatment plant is rated for 7.5 million gallons per day and consists of a rapid mix basin, 2-stage flocculation, 5 sedimentation basins with inclined plate settlers, 5 dual-cell granular media filters, a chlorine contact basin, clear well storage, and finished water pumping. The 5 dual-cell granular media filters help to filter out sediment, impurities, manganese, and iron, reduce turbidity, and ensures compliance with state and federal regulations for water quality. Water filter media has a general life expectancy of 10 to 15 years, and Saguasa's filter media is now over 20 years and old and needs replacement.
So typically, filter media should be replaced every 10 to 15 years. However, the water quality conditions and the water treatment plant is unique at each facility. And so what we recommend is that the condition of the filter media be assessed every 1 to 2 years to inform us when it needs to be replaced.
Would you mind introducing yourself to our virtual town hall guests and tell them a little more about what you do at Hazen?
Yeah, absolutely. I am Lemia Bedur. I am in the Hazen and Sawyer's Raleigh office here in North Carolina, and I have the pleasure of managing both wastewater and drinking water projects throughout the state, as well as outside the state. I'm also the corporate sustainability lead at Hazen and Sawyer, and it's a real pleasure for me to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a few questions from the community that I would love to hear more from you on. The first question, could you explain why the filter media removal and replacement program is essential and what specific challenges the media addresses in ensuring water quality?
Yes, so to explain why this project is so important, I would like to start off by describing what a filter is and the role it plays in water treatment. Here's a graphic that shows what a filter looks like. So what's shown in gray, yellow, and brown depicts the media inside the filter. Water moves from top to bottom, and small particles in the water, such as sediment, algae, and microorganisms, collide with the media surface and attach or stick to the media as a result. And so because of that movement, filtration reduces the cloudiness or haziness of water, which we call turbidity, and it removes pathogens before the water moves on to the next disinfection process. Under the EPA, filtered water turbidity must not exceed 0.3 NTU 95% of the time. NTU is a unit of measurement that we use for turbidity, or that cloudiness and haziness. There are also several other operating parameters for filters that are indicators of how well a filter is performing. So the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality requires that public water systems such as Saguasa are consistently meeting water quality and treatment standards. And so we do have some snapshots that show how Saguasa records these parameters every day and reports them in their monthly operating reports. These parameters can be used to tell us a story about the filter. So how is the filter performing, and are we getting close to needing a replacement soon? So we have measures in place to help tell us when that media needs to be replaced. It is important to note that filters do not remove particles. Instead, they store particles that are then removed during a process that we call backwash. You will hear me talk about backwash, and that is a cleaning process that reverses the flow of water through a filter to remove those accumulated particles. This is a picture of the filters at the Butner Water Treatment Plant. There are 5 filters, and the filter media here consists of sand and anthracite, which is a carbon-based medium. Now, to speak more to why this is essential for Saguasa, in the fall of last year, we completed a filter surveillance of 2 filters at the water treatment plant. Filter surveillance is when we take a filter out of service and inspect all parts of the filter, including the media.
This is a staged project, so as you heard, we have 5 filter basins. The plan is to take one filter basin off at a time, which is approximately 30 days worth of work for each filter basin. We will start doing analysis, every year, but I imagine around year 7, between 7 and 10, we will start replacing them. And the thought process is to do them 1 or 2 at a time, not to do all 5 of them at a time. That way we can actually have a program for replacement.
And here's a picture of what media looks like after it has been in service for several years. The dark color that you see here is primarily caused by the filter doing its job, frankly. The media has collected particulate matter and dissolved minerals like iron and manganese that are prevalent in this region of North Carolina. So a filter that is working well is going to do a great job at collecting these particles, which is why it is so important to clean, replace, and maintain the filter and the media on a regular basis.
What are the critical steps involved in safely removing and replacing filter media? Most folks don't get to tour the facilities or get the opportunity to really see the back end component that we're discussing today. Could you help shed light on that?
Yes, definitely. This process requires that the filter that is being worked on is taken out of service. And so this work is done one at a time, and it can take up to several weeks for a single filter. The initial step would be for the contractor, they would typically use a vac truck to vacuum out the old media for disposal. After the filter has been emptied, this is a great opportunity for us, the engineer, and the contractor to get in there and inspect the filter and the under-drain system, which is the media support system. This is a rare opportunity that we have to see the filter without the media in place, so we try to take advantage of this when it occurs. The next step would be for the contractor to repair the underdrain. And in this case, at the Butner Water Treatment Plant, this would involve replacing the underdrain nozzles with new nozzles. When it comes to the new media, we, as the engineer, require that the new media is tested before it's being shipped to the water treatment plant and again before it is installed. We have specific requirements for several parts of this process, and they are based on national standards set by AWWA, which is the American Water Works Association. Some examples of these requirements include how the media should be stored once it arrives to the water treatment plant. What are the installation requirements? What are the washing requirements for each layer of media that is installed? So the intent of these rules and processes is to be precise and to ensure that any deficiencies get resolved before the filter gets placed back into service.
So when we have big projects like this is kind of like routine maintenance. And because it's years when it happens, not weekly, monthly, or daily, how do you keep track of that so that we can plan for it better?
So to your point, our plan is to make this a more routine thing. We want to do filter analysis on this. We can do filter analysis every year or 2 years with this. We will start doing analysis, every year, but I imagine around year 7, between 7 and 10, we will start replacing them. And the thought process is to do them 1 or 2 at a time, not to do all 5 of them at a time. That way we can actually have a program for replacement.
Now it's time for a bit of trivia. Of all the Earth's water, how much is suitable for human consumption? You're correct if you guessed letter C. About 97% of Earth's water is found within our oceans. Of the 3% that is freshwater, 68.7% is stored in ice caps, glaciers, and permanent snow. 30.1% is groundwater, and only about 3% is in surface water, lakes, rivers, and swamps available for human consumption.
My staff members that are doing the hydrant maintenance are doing a good job. Hydrants are looking beautiful. They're flushing the water. Some of the hydrants haven't been flushed in a long matter of time. So unfortunately that stirred up some of the mess in it and caused some discoloration of water and things like that in the Creedmoor area. But being in the fire service for a long time, anytime we've had an incident that required us to use a fire hydrant, that usually resulted in people having complaints about the water being discolored in their house for a little bit. We apologize about that. One of the positive aspects of the 2 employees now dedicated to hydrant maintenance is they're going to be flushing the hydrants and exercising these valves on a regular basis. And basically, they're going to be visiting hydrants that probably haven't been touched in years. So unfortunately, that's going to move all the sediment that's been pushed down the pipes to help clean those out. So if you would bear with us, but if you do see discolored water in your area, please reach out and let us know so that way we can verify, 1, if it was a hydrant maintenance in the area, or 2, if it's something that needs to be looked at further. I know that the things in this world and the way things are, people are reluctant about their water quality, about reporting it, and everybody says, I always report it, and things of that nature. And we understand that, but the biggest thing that we're trying to do is narrow down where it's being reported at and from, because general statements of my water is bad and us not knowing exactly who it is, and we can't respond to stuff on social media because we're limited to whose account the name is under and that of nature. But if you are experiencing issues with your water quality as far as the discoloration and the taste, please reach out so we can get a record, because we need that record in order to investigate it. And I want to be a voice for you guys, especially my citizens in Creedmoor, and champion the change that we're trying to do here at Seguasa and move forward with these recommendations that were being presented to us. Especially, we know that we've got water pipes that are several years old, and that's the next thing that we're going to have to tackle, is figure out what water pipes in our neighborhoods that we need to go in and physically inspect. And I look forward to doing that with Director Schroyer and our staff here as we move forward.
With construction, projects, and routine maintenance efforts in motion, residents may experience increased aesthetic concerns with water. Please remain assured that Seguasa's water meets or exceeds all state and federal standards. Do you have a water quality concern that you would like to receive support with? Visit seguasa.org/quality to complete an official water quality questionnaire. A team member will be in contact to investigate your concern promptly. Thank you for viewing the September Town Hall. Submit your questions and requests for information to be featured on the next Town Hall at seguasa.org/VTH today.